Let me just say this up front. I do not love corporate politics. I don't find it necessarily fun, and I'm not here to pretend it's some clever game everybody should enjoy and have fun playing. But I am really realistic. If you want to advance to senior levels in corporate, politics is part of the deal. And the faster you stop seeing it as something dirty or unfair and start seeing it as how work just actually gets done, the faster you get out of victim mode and back into control. Here's the truth about your boss. They have more impact on whether you like your job than almost anything else. More than the company, more than the role, more than the pay even. Why is this? It's because every organization has the larger company culture and then a dozen microcultures created by leaders, knowingly or not. And when your boss is toxic, you're not just dealing with a personality issue, you're dealing with a system problem that directly affects your career. So let's talk about how to handle it strategically. So the first type of toxic boss is the micromanager. This is the most common toxic boss and also the most misunderstood. Micromanagers usually aren't trying to control you, they're trying to control risk and frankly their own insecurity. And here's the hard part. The situation improves more because of you, not them. So what doesn't work with a micromanager? Waiting for them to change, complaining about trust. Why don't they trust me? Withholding information to prove a point. Here's what does work with a micromanaging boss. Proactive visibility. Micromanagers hover because they don't feel informed. So if you get ahead of them, that can back down. Here are some practical actions. Create a simple tracker or weekly update. What am I working on? Status on the tracker, at risk, complete, on track. Any upcoming risks, any CYA updates, no action needed, but I'm flagging this as it might come up next week. Or I had a tough conversation with so-and-so and wanted you to be in the loop in case it surfaces. Yeah, it feels like extra work, but it's going to buy you trust. And when trust goes up, micromanagement often goes down. The second kind of toxic boss is the credit taker. This is the boss who presents your work as their own. They don't necessarily advocate for you either. They're happy to shine while you stay invisible. You will never fix this with loyalty. You will fix this with relationships. So here's the rule. If your boss won't represent you accurately, you must be known beyond them. Practical actions you have to take. Build relationships up, down, and across. Make sure that you've got key stakeholders in every level in the organization, cross-functional partners, senior leaders adjacent to your work. You need people to speak about your work factually, not defensively. You need to let people know, here's what I'm leading, here's the outcome of my team and what we delivered. No drama, no accusations. A broader internal network will do two things for you. It will protect your reputation and it will make credit stealing much harder. And yeah, this also is going to make you more promotable. The third type of toxic boss is the hyper-political boss. Let's separate two things. Politics are unavoidable, but toxic politics are optional and dangerous. A toxic political boss is one that gossips about peers to you, pits team members against each other. They might withhold visibility opportunities. They're likely threatened by your potential. And if they're gossiping to you, they're likely gossiping about you. Here are your moves here. Shut down the gossip calmly and respectfully. I'm not comfortable speculating about Sally, or I haven't seen that personally, but I'd like to talk about this project I have coming up. Change the subject. Redirect to work. You don't need to be confrontational. You just don't need to participate. You also need to continue to build peer relationships and do it aggressively. Strong peer relationships are going to neutralize any misinformation that your boss might be working to seed and prevent any poisoning of the well that your boss might be working on. It will also give you early warning if narratives are forming. This is not disloyal. It's actually adult career management. Here's what I want you to hear. Corporate politics are not a moral failing, they're a system. And systems don't care how fair they feel. They care whether you understand how they work. The moment you learn the rules, you stop feeling powerless. So What do you do when you know that it's time to leave? If you have a toxic boss and you know that there's nothing you can do about it, sometimes the answer isn't just try harder. It's this environment is capped, and that's realistic. And if that's the case, work your internal network, work your external network, leave from a position of strength, not resentment. That's how senior leaders move. And I hope this helped. And if it did, subscribe, because I'll keep breaking down how careers actually work without the corporate fairy tales.